You ever seen HOA graffiti dripping down the side of a 1965 Rolls-Royce like fresh blood? Because that's what I woke up to, chemical stench burning my nose, paint still tacky under my finger, and an official notice tucked under my wiper. Vehicle removed for code violations. Contact Brenda Kensington for retrieval. My car. My property. The project I'd poured 8 months and all my grief into since my wife Elena died. Now abandoned junk, thanks to a woman with a clipboard and zero conscience. Brenda thought she'd just spray paint my silver cloud and steal it with paperwork. She thought I wouldn't fight back. What would you do? Because right then, in pajamas, looking at 8 months of sweat ruined in 30 seconds, I decided Brenda's arrest warrant would be my next DIY project. 6 months ago, I was just Marcus Holloway, 58, retired Boeing machinist, figuring out how to live in an empty house after cancer took Elena. Drowning in silence, until I found that Rolls, a 1965 Silver Cloud II, buried under 30 years of dust in a neighbor's garage. The poor guy died, no will, and the estate sale was a vulture's picnic. $8 grand for what looked like a metal coffin. Mice in the seats, mildew everywhere, but I saw the beauty underneath. I moved to Maplewood Estates for peace, decent folks, reasonable HOA. The flatbed dropped my project off on a Tuesday, and before the oil had settled, here comes Brenda, heels clicking like a starter's pistol. She looked like a real estate ad. Hair, suit, smartphone, and that death grip clipboard. I'm Brenda, HOA president, she said, already taking pictures. This vehicle violates our standards. You have 72 hours. She handed me a citation, smiled that fake smile, and circled the block 3 times in her white BMW, watching my car like prey. Turns out, HOA rules are mostly copy-paste junk from the 80s, half unenforceable. I played it cool, said I was restoring it, didn't matter. By the weekend, I'd racked up $400 in fines for noise, unauthorized deliveries, improper waste. Every day, a new citation. Every night, Brenda circling slow. But the creepiness really started when Jerry, my neighbor, told me Brenda had called him, grilling him about whether I was running a shop. Seemed like she already had the answers. That's when I realized Brenda wasn't just making up violations. She was manufacturing fake witness statements, trying to build a case against me. So I started digging. Washington law gives hobbyists 180 days to restore a vehicle. No permit needed. Brenda's citations? All garbage. I appealed every fine, citing state law, sent it to the board and her broker for good measure. Brenda upped the ante. Unauthorized hazardous storage. So, I wheeled my hoist out for the world to see. Pretty soon, half the neighborhood is peeking in, Jerry, Tom, even Mrs. Patterson with her ancient poodle. And every time, Brenda's BMW prowls by, phone out, documenting. Then, the twist, a city code guy shows up, badge and clipboard, looking tired. We've gotten 19 calls about this address. All from a woman named Brenda. This isn't a business, it's a hobby. She's wasting our time. Brenda was officially on record for harassment. But she didn't quit. Next, my insurance calls. Are you running an unlicensed shop? Brenda had filed an anonymous tip. Then Jerry tells me Brenda asked about my finances. That's when it hit me. She wasn't protecting the neighborhood. She was gathering intel for something bigger. Saturday, a real estate flyer appears in my mailbox. Every house sold above asking. Small print. Avoid problematic properties. Contact Brenda for a market analysis. Mrs. Patterson shuffles over next day, voice shaky. Brenda asked if you seemed mentally stable since Elena passed. In Washington, HOAs can force sales if owners are mentally unfit. Brenda was digging for a way to take my home. Monday, 2 county guys show up. Anonymous report about my welfare. Clearly you're fine, sir. Brenda's crossed the line from busybody to stalker. Next, I get a certified letter. 27 violations, $3,200 in fines, threats of liens and foreclosure. She'd attached photos taken with a telephoto lens through my garage windows. Professional, invasive. I called Jim Martinez, Elena's old attorney. Marcus, this is textbook harassment. They can't take your house over made-up violations, but she's building a file. He starts digging deeper. Wednesday, I finish the engine rebuild. For 30 seconds, that V8 fires to life, and I forget about Brenda. Then I see her, with a photographer, snapping pics for a toxic chemical story. Thursday night. My security footage catches Brenda at 11:23 p.m., flashlight out, checking my garage, trying the door. Friday, deputies show up, illegal dumping complaint. They leave shaking their heads. Brenda's wasting their time, too. But Jim finds the silver bullet, the original HOA docs. Restoration of classic vehicles? Protected. Brenda's threats? All illegal. Then, the financial twist. She's leveraged up, mortgaged 3 investment properties, all riding on Maplewood's rising values. My blue-collar project threatened her carefully inflated luxury narrative. It gets worse. Tom admits Brenda offered neighbors $500 to sign a petition that my restoration was lowering home values. 3 took the cash. Mailman Steve says Brenda intercepted my packages and took pictures. Federal crime, by the way. But the final twist, Jim discovers Brenda's been investigated twice for coercing owners to sell cheap using HOA pressure. Settled quietly, NDA'd. But my case triggers a 3rd investigation. Now, the state's watching her. The neighborhood rallies. Tom and Jerry have logs and security footage. Mrs. Patterson has notes of Brenda harassing neighbors. I take the roles on a victory lap. 6 neighbors give thumbs up. A teenager wants a selfie. The tide is turning. But Brenda tries one last power move. Orders my car towed as abandoned. The tow truck guy laughs, sees the engine fire up, tears up the work order. That afternoon, Jerry says Brenda offered to buy his house. Cash, 20% over value. She's desperate. That's not all. Elena's doctor calls. Someone claiming to be HOA wanted to know if your grief counseling was working. Brenda's not just trying to take my house. She's building a case that I'm mentally unfit. Thursday, Tom finds Brenda in my backyard photographing my trash for evidence. She even taunts me about Elena. I keep my cool, call the cops for trespassing. Friday, every regulatory agency in the state calls about anonymous, hazardous waste reports. Brenda's carpet bombing. That afternoon, I get a certified letter from a made-up Maplewood Property Values Protection Committee. The address is a P.O. box rented by Brenda herself. Saturday morning, I find all 4 tires on my Honda slashed. Chalk message on the driveway. Last warning. This is beyond HOA. It's criminal. I install cameras everywhere. Sunday, Tom shows me my property's been quietly rezoned. Mixed-use development. It's worth triple if developed. Permits filed. Guess who the agent is? Brenda. All this wasn't about rules. It was about forcing me to sell cheap so she could flip my lot for a fortune. Monday night, the HOA meeting is packed. News cameras, neighbors, tension. Brenda tries to start with violations, but Mrs. Patterson shuts her down. I stand, folder in hand. Here's 43 incidents of harassment, 12 false reports, evidence of fraud, and proof Brenda is manipulating property values for profit. County documents, appraisal reports, original HOA rules, slide after slide. Jerry plays a recording, Brenda offering him money to say I was unstable. The crowd erupts. Sheriff's deputies walk in. Mrs. Brenda Kensington, you're under arrest for mail tampering, filing false police reports, conspiracy to commit real estate fraud. Handcuffs click. Brenda's legacy done. 6 months later, Brenda's pled guilty. License gone, restitution paid. The new HOA board rewrites the rules to protect homeowners. The Rolls becomes our neighborhood ambassador. Car shows, weekend wrench sessions, scholarships for kids learning trades. Elena would have loved it. Best moment? Last week, new neighbor Dave wanders over. Can you help me restore my granddad's Camaro? His little girl hands me tools, beaming. That's community. Folks fixing things, not breaking each other down. So, have you ever faced a Brenda? Drop your story in the comments. There's one in every neighborhood. Don't let them win. Document everything. Know your rights. And remember, the best revenge is living well and building real community, one project at a time.